What's up, Dragon Brood? So today I'm kind of talking about something a little more serious. Part of the thing on my channel is I do want to bring fun game content and stuff and strategy articles and whatnot. But at the same time, I also want to educate people about kind of what the industry is and what's out there. So once we're back at, we'll call it normalcy and we're not in isolation, I have a bunch of videos scheduled with some interviews with store owners and the business side of things. But that also includes talking about why content creators should be paid. And I can't speak for everybody else, but I can tell you that right now I have a podcast going, spending a lot of time on the YouTube channel. I'm also streaming over on Twitch. Between equipment, fees for websites, people paying artists to design things, uh, time we're putting in just editing videos, our service we use for the podcast, like all of this stuff. By the time I start getting monetized significantly, I will still be probably $2,000 in the hole, you know? And there's people doing even more than I am. They're using even more expensive cameras and a bigger computer rig or setup, right? And people take a lot of that content. And this comes up because one of the popular Magic websites, Channel Fireball, just recently announced that they're going to go to a subscription service to get at some of their more premium content. And it's still fairly cheap. It's $5 per month, or if you want their premium service, it's like $10 a month. You also get $10 store credit each month and some other stuff. But the thing there is, how often do people take stuff for free from content creators and not necessarily give anything back to the community? And you create some weird situations. Like, as an example, there are times I've had somebody say, hey, can you just post your deck list and your description of your articles? Well, I actually kind of want to do that because it makes it more useful for people to grab the deck list and put it into Arena or whatever service they use, right? But then the problem comes with trying to figure out, how do I maximize my efforts on YouTube? One of the things too, and let's start this way. Let's talk about the ways people get monetized, because I think that's part of the real conversation. It's different on each platform, right? If you come follow me on Twitch, there I get monetized by people basically subscribing or gifting stuff, or very, very little on ad revenue. And it's not like I'm pulling down big money from Twitch either right now. Twitch is the one place I have gotten monetized from so far. And even then, it's like, if I average it out, it's probably like $45 a month, maybe $40 a month, right? So, yeah. But there, you can still give away your like free Prime subscription to somebody every month. Like, there's amazing the number of people I know that let their Prime sub just sit there and don't give it to anybody. And that's an easy way you could support someone. When we're talking about something like YouTube, then that becomes different because you get monetized pretty much strictly by ad revenue on YouTube. The problem there, though, is like in my case, I've still got to get to 1,000 subscribers before I can get monetized. And even then, to get our articles or our videos in front of enough people, we need to build up that audience. And on top of that, we have to basically play the game within the YouTube algorithm. For those of you that don't know, the YouTube algorithm looks at amount of time people spend on a video. Do they interact with the video, whether that's liking, subscribing, and or leaving a comment? How frequently those videos go up? And really stuff like the ratio of likes to dislikes, that type of stuff. The problem there, though, is coming back to the example of somebody asking somebody like me to put a deck list in the actual description. Well, if that person gets to know that every time I put up a deck list, it's just going to be in the description. Well, if they go and just snipe that deck list and bounce, I don't even get credit for a view on that video. So that does nothing to help me in the YouTube algorithm. So the work I'm putting in, I wouldn't, because you have to be on the video for at least 30 seconds for that to count, if I understand that correctly, as an actual view. So you didn't even stay on there long enough to give me a view credit. You didn't like the video or comment on the video, and you probably aren't subscribed to the channel. But I don't know, maybe you are, and that's how you knew it was there. But that's the type of stuff we talk about. Like, that puts the content creators in a tough situation of trying to figure out, how do we do this in the way best to build up the audience and give that content away, but still have some way to monetize it in the end. So when you see people like me asking you, like, hey, could you like the video? Could you subscribe to the channel? Like, that's why they're trying to help their numbers and get paid. Now, when you look at other sites, like we're talking about Channel Fireball in this case, $5 a month is actually pretty reasonable. But the thing you have to understand is they go out and get writers, top quality writers that are either pro players or oftentimes just people considered experts or having the knowledge in a certain style of deck or a certain format, and those people's time isn't free. I mean, they should be paid something. I mean, why should we all be okay just going to these sources and getting that information for free? Especially giving nothing in return, because yeah, they're getting paid somewhat, but those companies being able to take in more money allows them to hire more writers or better writers. Because in some cases, you have people that don't want to do the work for a minimal amount of pay. And I totally understand. I mean, even here on YouTube, if I put up sometimes a 10 to 13 minute video, that could still be a couple hours worth of work between working on my lighting or positioning, writing up my content script, figuring out what I want to talk about, maybe putting a deck list together, then actually recording it, and then the time it takes to edit it, put in music, whatever I need to do, then render it, and then load it to YouTube, right? That could be several hours sometimes for one 10-minute chunk. And right now, that's $0, but in the future, that still might be like $50, right? Like, how many people would go to their jobs and work for $50 for 5 hours? Like, if you're making minimum wage in the US, like, sure, maybe that doesn't sound so bad. But remember, they still have to pay taxes and everything out of that too. So I'm not here saying don't just go nuts and pay for everything and whatever, like, because I get it. Not everybody has the budget to do that. And that's totally understandable. But there are other ways that you can support all of these people, even if you can't do the things to just outright buy things. So as an example, if you're going out and you're going to buy new supplies or clothing or whatever, check with your favorite content creators and see if they have merchandise that fits. Especially in gaming, you might think like, man, I'm going to get a new playmat, and they might have one with their logo or something on it. Or you're going to get clothes for maybe just replacing some shirts or whatever. Great, go to your content creators and you'd be surprised. A lot of them do have merch available. That is one way they can make some extra money. Be sure, like I said, here on YouTube, if you like somebody's channel, subscribe. If you're following somebody on Twitch, hit the follow button. Help build their numbers up so they get it in front of more people, so maybe somebody else who do have the funds can support them. Share their content. If you're following a lot of us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, right? We all have a bunch of social media accounts. Like, if they put up something fun, share it out to people. Share it with other people you think would enjoy it and help them build up their audience, because eventually that can lead to more income for them. So even though you may not be able to spend money, you might actually be able to help them in other ways. There's just a lot of little stuff like that. If an opportunity comes up and you see another industry professional saying, hey, I'm working on this game and I need an artist, and an artist who's putting out stuff, then great, reach out to them. If you know somebody who wants to maybe promote a new product and a YouTube channel that you really like, hook them up with that person and say, hey, here's somebody who has an awesome channel. You might want to reach and do some work with them. Like, those type of things can all help build different people's brands that you support. It doesn't always have to be about just the dollar. But at the end of the day, we can't hate on people trying to get paid for doing real work. I mean, it's unfortunate, but a lot of times we look at this content, whether it's music, art, video, whatever, and don't look at it as real work. But it's really a lot of work. I mean, it's somebody's time, it's somebody's thoughts, IPs, real effort. And that's time away from friends, family, doing something else fun and leisurely to try to make a living doing this other thing. And let's be honest, all of us, we all have a better life and things are more enriching because we have these content creators out there, right? Whether they're making videos or music or movies or whatever it is that we enjoy, At the end of the day, we're having more fun because these people exist. But we have to make it at least enough for them to be financially stable eventually, or they won't quit doing it because there's just going to be other things they could do, or they're just going to have to make a decision and just quit doing the thing for free. And I get that it's hard, right? If we're used to getting something for free and then now we have to pay for it. Like, remember, there was a time where Netflix was like $4.99 or something. And even before that, like, you could have the cheap service and we could rent DVDs and send them back. And then when they went to like, okay, we're going to charge $10, and then they went to like whatever it is now, like $12.99, people lost their minds. Like, people were super upset about that. But now Netflix is one of the largest studios of movie production. They're like the #1 creator in stand-up comedy sketches. Like, they basically changed the entire comedy industry for comedians, right? That only happens because people are spending more money. Like, if that didn't happen, those creators wouldn't be able to have those opportunities. All those Netflix original series and movies that you see probably wouldn't be made. So there is a result of paying these fees and doing these things. And I guess I just wanted to like give a peek behind the curtain of the things that go on and why people expect to try to be paid. And like I said, I get it. I grew up very poor. That's a whole other video we can get into on how I ended up where I am now. But truth be told, I still get it. Like, yeah, there's some things I may not have access to because I couldn't pay for them, right? But there are other ways I can engage with those people, I can engage with those properties, and help build them up so that at some point I do get access to their things. Or maybe even build those connections and relationships so I'm in a better place when I want to do something and, they remember that. And there's different levels. Like I said, there's some people that are on sites that are just paying contracts for you to produce content. There's stuff like YouTube, where we're all doing it independently, or Twitch, where we're on there streaming and you're hoping people basically come give you donations for your work, right? There's different levels depending on how you choose to interact. And I'm not here to tell you how to spend your time and how to spend your money. I just want to put a perspective out there and kind of say like, hey, I get it. I do understand. It sucks when you like a thing and it's just not free anymore. Totally understand. But I also understand the other side too, that I've been in their position and I still am now, trying to build a channel now and starting from the ground up. And I know there's people, I can see the views that happen compared to the number of subscribers I have, right? Like, there are people that definitely are coming to my channel and getting things for free and not giving me anything in return. Like, that's kind of the game we're having to play. And it wears you down a little bit, but I understand that's just how it works. So I hopefully do enough quality things, bring enough things to the channel, bring enough original perspective that I connect with you all and y'all care, and then maybe you'll subscribe and like this video. But anyway, I hope I didn't talk your ear off too much. I hope this didn't sound like a sob story. That's not what it was meant to be. This is really just kind of raising awareness that everybody who's creating content, from writers to artists to video producers to your streamers to whatever, like, they all deserve to make a living. And I get it. If you can't contribute, you can't contribute. But please help them out in other ways if you can. And I'm going to leave you with that, and I'll see you next time.